notorious final chicane that we're seeing him come through now and cut the inside of the first one. Definitely not the second portion of that chicane. As we saw, Mivako took it very well and gets a 108.806 on the board with the soft tires to kick things off. So not a bad lap, all things considered. Already into the 108s here for the first lap of the Division 2 qualifying session.
Oh, that's not a bad banker whatsoever. As we see Cohen go to P2 with pretty much a 110 flat. That's got to be a banker, you would think. Who's the next driver about this time? This looks like a Mercedes.
No. Let's take a look here.
Oh, he's on his out lap, rather.
Yeah, that's Stewart on the out lap. I mean, Cruz is, well, just starting a flying lap, I believe. He's on the board. AJ Wuhan setting a 109.3. 5 here, but still nobody's been able to, in these early stages, nobody's been able to go faster. Well, as I say, to Passassin, definitely known for a lot of pace around just about any circuit, and he goes ahead and sets a 108.457, so already 4/10 quicker than sitting here in P1 and P2 in the early stage, in the fall on the board.
Yeah, prior to see times, we saw F1 Richie in the Division 3 race set a lap time of a 108.925, and we're already about, I want to say, a half a second quicker than that so far with Passassin's lap of a 108.497 rather. So more pace for these drivers to be had.
Oh, definitely. And of course, Tier 2 does have, or Division 2, excuse me, does tend to have a little bit more pace than Division 3, and of course, in that same note, Division 1 has a bit more pace than Division 2. So we are going to see these times get faster, but of course, kicking things off with a 108 is very impressive to say the least, especially in these early stages of qualifying, where I would have thought we'd have seen them maybe a little bit more near the latter stages once the track is heated up, once everything has been once the evolution has happened and a little bit more gripped in. But, I mean, I think it just goes to show, as I keep saying, the pace that these Division 2 drivers have. As, let's go ride with the Renault of, hang on, I'm trying to read this name, Ephraim Tabone. Am I pronouncing that right at all?
Ephraim Tabone, yeah, it seems pretty...
Ephraim Tabone, yeah, I think, is he, I believe he's a reserve here, because I don't remember seeing his name previously. But out on a flying lap with these soft tires, and we'll see what kind of pace he's got as he's coming down this final, this back straight with the DRS flap open. As you can see, he's got one final chicane to take. Takes it very nicely. Maybe can push a little bit more to the inside of the second part there, but better safe than sorry, as you don't want to invalidate. And that's a 109.637 for him to kick things off. Puts him up into P9, but potentially hoping to... set a little bit of a quicker time in these later stages.
Some show notes to go over. Jordan let us know in the chat that Ephraim is a reserve. He's reserving for the real DC. And also Cohen let us know, thank you Cohen, we're going to have a dry race here. So weather will not play a factor in today's Division 2 race. So look for these drivers to just come out with their strategies already planned ahead, barring any safety cars, VSCs of that sort. So,
yeah, but I'm sure with the dry race, dry qualifying, I'm sure the drivers are very happy about that, considering the mayhem and the chaos we saw in the Formula Fridays race with the wet sessions all around. Maybe not so much for us in the commentators booth. I was kind of hoping for maybe a little bit of interchanging weather, bring in a little bit of uncertainty with this, with the race, with the drivers, with the strategies. But with a dry race, as the Canadian Grand Prix has shown, even with a dry race, incidents can happen aplenty. Anything can happen, as Division 3 has definitely shown. Yeah. And, I mean, of course, leaning on that, safety cars can always come out and play a bit of a factor, and virtual safety cars.
Oh,
especially
no!
Here. Uh-oh.
Oh, I was just about to say, after you were done talking, Synchro did his lap on the mediums, then on his cooldown lap, went through the Vettel chicane as we all have come to know it. Oh, and he's just a sitting duck right here. He lost the car, and he's had to wait for... Ooh. absolutely everybody to go back by. So
Yeah, I didn't see that as I just switched out of synchro after he had set his lap, but thankfully I was on board with Nathan at the right as he said it, so I was able to kind of get a nice little onboard of where that car was, and yeah, that was at the Vettel chicane. Once again, or well, right as the point I was gonna make, where leading into the safety cars, I mean, you said it right at the beginning here of the stream of this qualifying. We're surrounded by basically two bodies of water, so very, very close walls. So not much runoff, and as we just saw there, that was an Alfa Romeo. Might have been, I think that was Cohen, that, speak of the devil, clipped the wall of champions and actually lost an end plate in the process. So currently, I think, had just finished setting a lap, but losing a lot of time clipping the wall, and now losing a lot of front wing, or downforce, I should say, through on this next lap. So probably going to have to pit here, as, yeah, definitely pitting with no ERS. But that's a lot of time lost, especially right at the end of the lap when you're oh so close to the end, oh so close to getting that lap time, and
Mats
all that
P6.
for nothing. Yeah. Up into
See
P6.
Vito about to cross the line too. Oh,
well, let's take a look. Up into 9th, 109.1. I'm gonna let's take a.
He had a bit of wheel spin coming out of the hairpin down there before we enter the long straight. So there's some time left on his lap. Vito will be back out and set a better lap than that.
Oh yeah, definitely. And loads of time here left in qualifying. 8 minutes to go. We're only about halfway through into this short qualifying session, maybe a little bit under. But I'm riding here with Faxland in the Haas car. Hasn't set a time just yet, and opting to set a lap on the medium tires here, at least at this point in qualifying. So we'll see. He's got a purple second sector to his name, but I'm not too sure if that's, as I keep saying, I don't know if it's a personal best sector or if that's a fastest sector here so far in this session, but we'll keep an eye out for him as he's coming down the back straight, has the DRS open, and we'll see what kind of time he can put up on those medium tires. And I think maybe we might see some drivers looking to get their qualifying times on the medium tires, even to squeeze into the top 10, as that might open the door for a bit more of an ideal strategy leading into the race.
Yeah.
Of course.
He's only brought it to P9, so he's just on the cusp of, like, yep, just there. He's already down into P, as we saw AJ Wuhan. Is that AJ Wuhan just at the fastest lap?
Potentially, yeah, it looks like it. I mean, he dove into the pits, but sitting at the top of the leaderboard now with a 108.224. But speaking of potentially somebody looking to take that top step right back, I'm riding with Assassin as he's coming down this back straight, so we'll see if he can improve on his time with the soft tires and maybe take that pole position back. He will need to find at least 2.5 tenths here on this lap, but as he's crossing the line, it's going to be close, and it was close, but not close enough, as he sets a 108.253, so it's still AJ Wuhan's 108.224 who's going to be on the top step here at this point in qualifying. But now we've got more drivers out on laps. Let's give Stewart a little bit of love here in the Mercedes car.
It says he's disconnected.
Pardon?
If you look on board of Dark's car, it says that Stewart is disconnected.
Oh, let's take a look. All right, on board with Dark. He just got away a little bit here, but maybe catching up. We'll see that. I'm not seeing the AI, but potentially, I'll take your word for it on the with the disconnecting. But hopefully, if it is a disconnect, hopefully he can get back in sooner rather than later. I'm gonna jump back to Dark in just a little bit, as he's just on an out lap now and looking to get his first time on the board. So hopefully he can get that through. I'm gonna try not to show too much bias to the Red Bull team in this collective constructors championship we've got going on, but I will keep an eye out on Dark and on Vito, maybe a little bit more than the rest, at least internally. But I'll keep everything shared for the stream. speaking of the stream, we've got Jordan on a flying lap right now with the soft tires, currently in 15th. I didn't quite get to catch his Sector 2 time to see if he had gotten slower or faster, but I'll stick with them coming down this back straight here, and with a corner to go, we'll see if he can improve on that 109.5 he's got on the board here.
Yeah, look, he was 0.3 up on his time before the hairpin. Ooh, a little bit of oversteer there.
We'll see how that plays out for him. Only, well, up to a P13, that's a 109.1, so still a solid lap time for Jordan. But just potentially was on pace to break into the 108s, but maybe with that little bit of oversteer out of the final chicane, caused a little bit of time lost for him. Now I'll switch back to Dark as he's coming around this final corner. Takes it maybe a little bit better. Didn't see anything too wrong with that. And that's a P8 for him with a 108.872. So not a bad lap time for the Red Bull driver of Dark as he puts himself right around in the middle of the pack with a little bit under 4 minutes to go. But immediately falling down the order as some quicker times. That was Demorts in the racing point. That's at a 108.454, and that puts him up into a provisional P3 here in qualifying at these later stages. So what a lap by Demorts, as puts himself really in the running for a strong start of the race here with that qualifying lap.
See Matt's getting ready to come across. I think, yeah, this is his out lap, rather, sorry.
Yeah, but looks as though he is starting a flying lap, Mats is. I'm riding here with, I've got Nathan that I'm keeping an eye out, AJ Wuhan's teammate, and we've seen in the past Nathan definitely having pace in that Williams car, but for the time being, only a P5 on the timing boards for him at this point in the session, but he's got the soft tires on and crucially slowing down, so potentially abandoning his lap time. So I guess I'll switch over to him, as it doesn't look like it's going to be a time to remember for Nathan this time around. But Faxland, wow. Just as I just noticed that just at a 108.190, and he takes that provisional pole position away from AJ with 2.5 minutes to go in qualifying. And what a lap that was into the 108s, and it looks as though we have I don't know if you see that on the
yeah, I was following
on the mini map
with him, and somehow he's
yeah,
motorboating through the lake right now. So
yeah,
just
like
his
Stewart
way back
was
to the
out
pit.
in.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, there we go. Looks as though that finally got sorted out, but I saw that on the mini map that that was Stewart, I think, out in Narnia. Going for a little bit of a swim. Ooh, Mivako got very close to Jordan on the exit of turn 2. I think maybe Jordan slowing down on his outlap. Yes, definitely on his outlap, letting Mivako through. But we'll see if that that potential less optimal line. We'll see how that might affect Mivako's flying lap time here. He was 7/1000ths quicker than his previous time, or his best time that he's got on the board. So might be looking to find a little bit more pace here. If he wants to improve his qualifying position. Now takes a 10th off of his time here in the second sector and goes fastest in the second sector for his troubles. But definitely lots of time to be found or lost here in the final sector. But I'm seeing clouds now starting to arrive as Vito retires from the qualifying session in a lowly P16. Oh, and that was Passassin that sort of parked up there on the down on the start-finish straight, excuse me. Whoa. As I was struggling to find my words. So I'm not too sure what Passassin was doing there. Maybe, oh, he's invalidated, so maybe just letting trying to get out of the way. But definitely that's a bit of a wasted lap time. And now with the end of qualifying, I don't think Passassin's going to have enough time to set a better lap here. And I think he's going to have to settle for P3 or potentially worse, as other drivers are probably out on their flying laps now right at the end of this session. But here, let's jump with Irish Nude Potato. Haven't shown him any love here on the stream just yet. In the other AlphaTauri car, teammates with Jordan that we saw earlier on. He's got a purple second sector, 7/100ths faster than his previous time, but it looks as though he does have his teammate of Jordan right ahead of him. So it looks as though we've got a little bit of team play here for the AlphaTauri drivers, as Jordan helping bring Nude Potato down this long back straight. You saw him get out of the way there. Takes that final corner fairly nicely, and we'll see if that helps the better lap time in, and that puts him up into a P7. So not a bad lap time for Irish Nude Potato. That's a 108.564 to end off his qualifying. Let's take a look. Mivako in the pits. Krishna invalidated, so that's going to be the end of his qualifying. And I mean, Stewart on an outlap here, but I think it won't be for much.
He's been on an outlap for the entire quality session.
Oh, okay. So maybe some connection issues, maybe a little bit of a desync, but we'll stick with him as he's a driver on track nonetheless.
It's a good thing the session's over. I just saw rain come up on screen.
Yeah, definitely good thing for the drivers, as now he crossed the line. The game is still saying he's on an outlap, but definitely should not be the case, as he should have ended there. But I'm not too sure what's going on with Stewart. Maybe
he was the driver we saw actually on the Olympic-sized swimming pool on the infield of the course.
Yeah, so maybe I think maybe a little bit of connection issues, potentially a desync from for Stewart compared to the rest of the grid, or potentially it's just us here that we're seeing it. Of course, this game is, I don't want to say it's known for these type of issues, but it is things we have seen in the past, and we're seeing them once again. So I think for the time being, we might just need to wait for this time to run out, as Stewart is potentially the only driver here out on track that we can keep an eye out, unless we want to watch the AIs of some of these other drivers. But either way, it's something to keep, it's something to watch here on stream. And nope, gets another lap in. So, I mean, in the meantime here, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone for joining us. This is going to be pretty much the end of qualifying, as we're just waiting for the time remaining to tick down to 0, so we can officially end qualifying and move on to the formation lap, and then of course the race. And for those who are just tuning in, yes, there is rain on the track, but it doesn't look like that's going to be too much of the case here for the race, as it seems as though we have had indication that it is going to be a dry race here for this Division 2 championship. But now, time at 1 second and not ticking down to the end here. So this is interesting scenes to end out qualifying.
It's real unfortunate.
Yep, very, very much unfortunate here, as I would love to move on to the race. Now, please dive into the pits. Nope, not diving into the pits, doing another lap here, and hopefully this is going to be the end of it. Nope, not the end of it, as going out on another lap here, and invalidated as well. Is glitch. QT my PS4. Michael Fura is indicating, seeing in the chat, lobby is glitched. And I was gonna say, drivers here out, drivers who maybe have the stream open. Are you guys Are you all experiencing something similar to what we are here, or?
See, Stewart has been kicked, and all of a sudden it works.
There we go. There we go. Stewart, yep, left the session. Potentially some connection issues for him. Hopefully all of that can get resolved. But for us here, we will continue on, finally, as it is Faxland with his 108.190, who will start from pole for the Haas team, with AJ Wuhan starting alongside him on the front row of the grid. Bassas in qualifying in third, Mivako in fourth, Demorts in fifth, Nathan JB in 6th, Nude Potato in 7th, Cruz in 8th, Laparta in 9th, and Ephraim Tabone in 10th, rounding out that top 10, all on the soft tires, with Krishna in 11th, Dark in 12th, Mats in 13th, Synchro in 14th, Jordan in 15th, Vito in 16th, Michael Furious in 17th, Stewart in 18th, Cohen in 19th, and Lorenzo rounding out the grid in 20th. But here we are, qualifying is all done, and we are getting going here for the race very shortly here. But of course, we will have a bit of a breather moment, or ideally a bit of a breather moment. Let the drivers plan out their strategies, get into the mindset of the race after that qualifying session, and once we get the cue to go from Jordan, who is the tier representative, we will be able to kick things off. Now, speaking of strategies, do you expect most drivers to be running a 2-stop, or do you think we'll see some drivers maybe pushing for the 1-stop here around this Circuit Gilles Villeneuve?
Oh, what? Well, the 1-stop strategy is just not worth it. Trying to eke those tires up, you might as well just, especially the guy starting in the top 10. So, excuse me, rather. Soft, medium, medium is probably the way to go. You're not going to lose a lot of pace, and you can really just abuse those tires for all they're worth to take every last lap out of those tires. So 2-stop, look for a lot of the drivers to be doing a 2-stop. I'd say going to the hards just don't have the pace around here as it does at other tracks, so it's pretty much a 2-stop.
Yeah, but I do have to agree with you 100% on that once again with the 2-stop, especially those on the top 10 who have all qualified on those soft tires. Definitely a soft medium to medium would be the ideal strategy, but we might potentially see some drivers maybe near the back of the order, maybe with nothing left to lose, as Jordan gives us that cue to go now. Potentially trying a mediums to hards, or even starting on the hard tires, pushing them, seeing how long they go, and depending on the wear of the hard tires from the start of the race, maybe then make that decision of whether or not you want to attempt that 1-stop to the end or just commit to the 2-stop. But of course, that does involve starting on the hard tires, which, as you've said, isn't necessarily the ideal tire to kick things off. But now, as we've got the one red light on for this formation lap, let's take us through the order. I'll take us through the order one more time, and we'll take a look and see, as I'll slap the detail on, what drivers have decided to do. So Faxland leading the way in the Haas car as he qualified on pole, with AJ Wuhan starting along the front row of the grid with him. Passassin in 3rd, with Mivako in 4th. Demortz in 5th, as mentioned. Passassin left the session. Nathan JB in 6th, so the second Williams, maybe not the qualifying he was hoping for, but we know he's got pace here, especially race pace. Irish Nude Potato in 7th, Cruz in 8th, Laparta in 9th, and Ephraim Tabone rounding out the top 10, all on the soft tires as expected, given that was the tire they set their quickest qualifying lap on. Now this is where things can get a little bit interesting. Krishna in the second Renault, equally putting on the soft tires, starting in 11th, and ISRL Dark in the Red Bull, opting to start on those hard tires. So
Where
a
have we
little
seen
bit
that
of
before?
Yeah, so reminds me of the as I mentioned last week, where he made that those hard tires work. So maybe once again doing a bit of a different strategy compared to the rest of the order, and we'll have to see if that plays out for him. Maybe going to be attempting that 1-stop, or that little hybrid 2-stop, 1-stop I was talking about. Mats in 13th on the mediums, Synchro in 14th starting on the mediums, Jordan in 15th starting on the mediums, Vito in 16th starting on the mediums, and Michael Furious in 17th starting on the mediums. So potentially a mediums to hard or a medium soft for these drivers here. And we've got Stewart in 18th on the softs, Cohen in 19th on the softs, and Lorenzo rounding out the order on the softs as well. So definitely committing to the 2-stop, I would say. But we've got the grid now just about ready to line up, so we are just about ready to kick off the start of the race with the 5 red lights here in just a few moments.
All the drivers hold their breath here because turn 1 in Canada can be a bit treacherous.
Yep, turn 1, turn 2, especially early on. Anything can happen, but in just a moment, we'll be ready to kick things off here for the Canadian Grand Prix. It is going to be ISRL Division 2 Championship here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Who will take the victory? We will find out in 35 laps time once the 5 red lights are up and running, as we're still waiting for these 5 red lights to kick off the start of the race.
Yep, seeing a little bit of problems here on the grid here.
Yep, as now Assassin has left the session once again. We had our tire strategy there, as we were talking about, soft medium mediums or soft mediums, as thank you AWS for providing that to us here as we were waiting to kick things off, but still waiting to kick things off here as let's take a look. Jordan and Stuart need to join, as I'm just peeking over at the chat here while we're waiting for these 5 red lights. So potentially, I'm not too sure if we've got maybe issues with the lobby. Soon, any updates from the from the pit wall, from the tier leader of Jordan here with this, or have we?
We do believe that it's Stewart. Probably needs to back out. He's been tagged several times. He's just ignoring the call.
So we'll see if that message can be relayed to him. As I believe once that happens, we can finally get started with the 5 red lights. Now I keep seeing something about Jordan as well here in the chat.
Yes, but Jordan's going to show his spinning due to the fact that he is the host. So. Yep, and I've received a blue screen.